Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. running on Nintendo Switch 2. Wait, does that mean she's outside listening to us? In that case, should we even be talking openly like this? I looked away from Kuraha and tried to think about what to do next. That was when my eyes landed on my bag, carelessly placed at the edge of the table. Oh, right. I took out my stationery and notebook and placed them on the table. Now that you're back, do you mind if I took a quick nap? I'm feeling pretty worn out. As I spoke, I scribbled a message in the notebook. Once finished, I turned it towards Kuraha. She could be outside in the room right now, listening in on us. I think we should communicate in writing. Kuraha pulled his chair closer to mine. The fact that he was so close made my heart beat fast. But I quickly refocused and continued writing. I got some new information from Yui. It was a lot of information to write down, so I wrote him a brief summary of what I'd found out about the Forbidden Room. I also wrote down my thoughts about the victims of the Divine Invocation incident. When I finished, I gave him an accomplished sigh. Kuraha then gestured for me to give him the pen. I watched as Kuraha skillfully wrote the words down, his letters like calligraphy. His handwriting is impeccable. He tapped the notebook with his finger, and I looked down to see what he'd written. I agree with your suggestion. Thank goodness. I nodded with a smile. Kuraha continued writing before setting the pen down quietly. The wraith is following me. I'll distract her while you go talk to Hibiki. This might sound a bit scary, but I think it's important for you to know. I only saw her from afar, so I can't say for sure, but it seems the wraith's arm has grown back. Reading that sent chills down my spine. So, physical attacks don't affect her. Kuraha must have seen my concern and gave a comforting pat on my back. I don't want to make him worry more. I nodded to show I was okay. Kuraha's in far more danger than me. He's using himself as bait. Kuraha suddenly placed his finger under my chin and lifted my face. His face inched closer, and... Huh? I felt his cold breath graze my ear, causing my heart to leap with anticipation. Oh, he was always thinking about me, putting me and my needs above himself. I leaned in and whispered to Kuraha. Kuraha, I was so worried about you. Kuraha's expression twitched slightly as he pulled back, a hint of red on his cheeks. He chuckled softly, and I picked up the pen from the table. If the memories the Wraith is trying to keep hidden are connected to you, Kuraha, I think your memories are the key to unlocking the Forbidden Room. If the Wraith is following you, maybe it shows she's worried about you too. After writing, I looked straight at Kuraha. He seemed deep in thought, reading my words carefully and deliberately. I moved closer and whispered again. I want to help you cross over. I want to free you from whatever's holding you here, because I want you to find peace. I stepped away and looked to find Kuraha staring back at me with surprise. His hand slowly stretched out to me. As he touched my hair, I felt compelled to look away from him. That's the cheek with the mark. I didn't want him to see me like this, to see the strange appearance on my skin. Yet Kuraha moved his face closer to mine and whispered gently to me. He was also direct with me, which was how I knew his words were genuine. The sound of those gentle words and the emotions they carried brought joy to my heart. Then I felt something cold brush against my cheek. I let out a small gasp. He was kissing the mark. A mixture of embarrassment and worry welled up within me. Is it really okay for him to kiss there? Kuraha, don't. If you kiss me there, I whispered in protest, but he ignored me and continued with his kisses. Even if they're fatal? Yet his words brought tears to my eyes. Kuroha is always so many steps ahead of me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kuroha's kindness enveloped me, bringing peace to my troubled heart. Even in this strange world, under this ominous curse, I was undeniably filled with joy. And amidst that happiness, I began to feel something new taking shape. I'm falling for him. He retreated slightly, but kept his face close to mine. Yes. I want to stay like this forever. I want to stay by Kuroha's side. I began to feel that impossible dream start to take a hold of me. I cracked open the door of the nurse's office and took a cautious look outside. She's not here. We talked together for some time before Kuroha went out again. If I'm not back in 10 minutes, consider my distraction successful. You go talk to Hibiki in the meantime. Ever since I arrived in this world, time seemed frozen. Every clock was still. My smartphone's battery had long since died. All I could do was guess, but after what I thought was 10 minutes passed, I left. I also left a note for Yui, telling her that I was out looking for Hibiki. I gently closed the door behind me and headed to the central stairway, doing my best to stay silent. As I walked, my mind drifted to feelings for Kuroha. He seemed to share my feelings, yet he didn't say so outright. Likely because there was no way for us to be together in the future. In that case, it's probably better to leave these feelings unsaid. Saying them out loud would only make things more painful later on down the line. Alright, switching to Kuroha's perspective. She seemed to be following me. The wraith doesn't seem to be very good at following me discreetly. A simple glance was all it took to spot her, yet she maintained a significant distance, continuously observing my every move. I hope Misa managed to meet up with Hibiki. I hope the two of them were able to talk. It was tough knowing how helpless I was. All I did was distract the wraith. I turned to see the girl, the seventh of the school's 7 wonders. Indeed, she had a point. Among ghosts here, there were only a few who did. She didn't actually kill him? Could it be she killed herself because of the false rumors the students spread about her? I wanted to console her, but I couldn't find the right words to say to her. Is she saying this because she knows I have feelings for Misa? Is it really that obvious? Her faint smile made me stop and think. Tell her my feelings. I told her many times I was attracted to her, but I never explicitly stated my feelings for her. After all, if we were destined to part, wouldn't it be better to leave such things unsaid? Or... Protagonist perspective. I reached the staircase and found Hibiki waiting for me in the mirror. When I mentioned I needed to talk to him, he quickly stepped out of the mirror. He then gazed at me, a pained look on his face.
そうしたら、そのあざは消えないんですか?
If the wraith is the ghost of the forbidden room, I think it might disappear when we find out her name. Hibiki stared at the ground, silent for a moment.
もしも、あなたの考えた通り、神下ろし事件の被害者が全員ここにいるなら。
He turned to the mirror and placed his hand over it. Hibiki, what are you doing?
あなたが入れるように許可を出しているんです。
Huh? Permission? You mean so I can enter the mirror? Hibiki nodded in response. Previously, he mentioned me needing permission to go inside the mirror. From deep within the mirror, I saw a creepy, dull blue light glinting at irregular intervals. I then felt a lukewarm wind pass through me, causing the hair on my arms to stand up. I'd seen and experienced many mysterious things ever since entering this world, and yet... This is amazing. What is this?
これで終わりです。さあ、行きましょう。
Wait, what's the point of me going inside the mirror?
神下ろし事件の被害者を鏡の中に入って探すためです。僕は声さえ聞けば多分わかるから。
Just from their voices? That seems rather odd. So, don't you already know who the victims are?
以前に話しましたけど、僕は他の幽霊を避けていたんです。接触することも、観察することも。
That's right. He did say that before.
月神家に幽閉されていた時、被害者たちの泣き叫ぶ声を聞いて過ごしていました。その一人一人の声をきっとまだ覚えてる。あの時、僕は小部屋に監禁されていたので、音でしか外の情報を探れなかった。だから、どんな音も聞き逃さなかったんです。
His explanation was short, but I understood. It must have been a truly horrible situation. Even thinking back on that time must be so painful for him. I began to worry about how much trauma I was causing him by merely asking him about these things. I might be too late in saying this, but I'm sorry, Hibiki, for making you relive such painful memories.
平気です。毎日思い出していますから。憎しみは早々に消えない。
Speaking with a smile, I saw a darkness in him I'd never seen before.
あ、そうだ。一応、クレハさんが入れるようにもしておきますね。
Thank you. In that case, I'll leave a memo at the nurse's office and let him know. I quickly left Hibiki's mirror and ran back to the nurse's office. Actually, given the situation, it might be safer in the mirror world. Because no one could enter without Hibiki's permission, that means I wouldn't have to worry about the wraith. I was a bit anxious at first, but then I allowed myself to enter Hibiki's world. Inside the mirror, a blue realm unfolded, where everything appeared oddly inverted. From inside the mirror, Hibiki and I surveyed the outside world through the school's mirrors, searching for the remaining victims. Waiting to hear the various ghosts speak was tedious, but thanks to Hibiki, we were able to navigate the way safely.
というか、僕、疑問があるんですよね。被害者たちについて。
What about them?
さっきあなたから話を聞くまで、神下ろし事件の被害者は僕を含めて5人だと思っていたんです。
Oh, that's right. Hibiki said he went somewhere else after he died. He said that was why he wasn't aware of all that had happened. He didn't even know the divine invocation name. Hibiki was one of the victims, but he was locked up in a room of the estate. It was no wonder he didn't know the number of victims.
当時、僕が屋敷で聞いたのは、月神遺産を含めなければ4人分の声です。絶対にそれ以上はいなかった。
But you only heard them, right?
自分で言うのもなんですが、 かなり正確だと思うんです。あの落書きくんの男の子も声でわかりましたから。
Oh, that was right. At the time, Hibiki said that.
多分この子は月神功にさらわれて屋敷の小部屋に幽閉されていたんだと思います。
I thought he deduced it from talking to the boy, but he actually figured it out from the boy's voice alone. It seemed he had both a keen ear and a good memory.
残り一人を知らないのは僕がさらわれてくる前に殺された子がいたのかもしれないなって。それか僕が死んだ後に新たにさらわれてきた子がいたか。
You're right. That's entirely possible, too. Only Isao Skikami would know the full timeline of the murders. That said, I don't think we need to focus on the timeline just yet. We went to various places, examining each classroom one by one.
やっと会えたな。ずいぶん探したんだぞ。
Kudaha. It felt strange to be able to talk to him without whispering.
悪霊は撒いてきたから鏡の中にいるのを悟られていないと思う。だから心配しなくていい。
Oh, thank you for that. Hibiki's currently helping me look for clues, too.
生き生きしてるな。保健室で待つだけは辛かったか。
Yeah, that might have been the safest place, but I still wanted to help out. I'm just happy I can talk to you like this, Kudaha.
俺も同じことを思っていた。お前と堂々と話せるのが嬉しいとな。
Great minds think alike. Despite how happy I was feeling, Kudaha's expression suddenly shifted.
響、何故俺を睨む？
Huh? I turned to face Hibiki, only to see him glaring at Kudaha.
だってなんか二人の間に流れる空気が前と違うから。
My heart jumped. Could it be that Kudaha and I were being too open with our feelings? That's because... I racked my brain for an excuse.
おそらく俺が彼女を女性として意識しているからだろうな。
Kudaha?
嘘。なんでそんな展開に？
響、恋というものは予期せぬうちに始まるものだ。覚えておくといい。
Why is he talking down to him?
なるほど。とても勉強になります。
He's just taking it. Perhaps it wasn't just Kudaha that was acting strange, but Hibiki as well. Well, I guess there's no point in dwelling on it. Anyway, let's continue. The two seemed jolted back to reality after I said that. I explained what Hibiki and I were working on so Kudaha could help us as well. We resumed our search and soon entered a classroom we hadn't visited before. I could hear someone humming a song I knew very well. The voice was faint, so faint I could barely hear it despite being in the same room.
この声。
Hibiki ran up to the mirror hung on the back of the classroom. Kudaha and I quickly followed after him. Hibiki, do you recognize that voice?
はい、間違いないと思います。屋敷の中で聞いた歌声そのまま。
ということは、この声の主は神殺し事件の被害者の一人か。
However, even through the mirror, I was unable to see who was on the other side. The person should be in the classroom. Maybe they're in a location the mirror can't see? Still, Hibiki told me that those outside the mirror could hear us. Can we try calling out to them? Hopefully that won't scare them.
表に戻り、同じ教室へ行くのも手だが、あの悪霊に察知される危険がある。
In that case, let's try talking to them from here. I took a deep breath and began speaking through the mirror. You have a very nice singing voice. The singing immediately stopped. After a short pause, I heard footsteps approaching, and a boy appeared in the mirror.
驚いた。あんた、鏡に宿った妖怪か何か？
Oh, I don't want the wraith listening in. Maybe it's best just to leave it at that. That is correct, young man. I am something very much like a spirit. I sounded like the Red Book. Hibiki snickered to himself, and Kuroha just smiled. This is kind of embarrassing.
妖怪ってこの学校の制服着てるんだ。変なの。
Oh, that's right. He can see me from the other side, too. I do my best to imitate humans, so I don't frighten them with my true form, but that's beside the point. There's something I want to ask you. You're a victim of the Divine Invocation incident, yes? Were you imprisoned at the Shikikami estate?
一目見て俺のことを見抜くなんて。何？
Oh, he seems pretty cooperative. Maybe I shouldn't ask directly about who the last victim was. What can you tell us about the victims of the Divine Invocation incident?
知らない。興味ないし。俺、生きていても悲しいことばかりでさ。だから、幽閉されて殺されても、あんまり何も思わなかったな。
Are there really kids who think like this? Then why didn't you cross over?
学校に行けなかったのが心残りでさ。だから、ここはとってもいいよ。勉強を教わることができるから、俺も進学できたらなってムカつきはするけど。
I see. So he found joy in learning and is annoyed that his future was taken away from him. Looking at him, I was filled with mixed emotions. I think I've forgotten what it's like to feel those pure emotions.
鏡の妖怪。大丈夫か？
Wait, is he talking to me? Oh, Hibiki's shoulders were twitching as he tried to hold back laughter. I never imagined the guy I liked would call me a mirror spirit.
ねえ、鏡の妖怪さん。聞きたいことってそれだけ？
Oh, well, what should I do now?
事件の被害者がどこで殺されたのか聞いた方がいいかもです。そこに6人目の手がかりがあるかも。
The location where they were murdered? At first I couldn't understand. Oh, that's right, the victims are here because of the regrets they had in life and the grudges they kept towards Isao Shikikami. The location of where they were murdered could potentially yield some new clues. I realized this might be painful to remember, but it pained me to ask, but I knew it was far worse for him. Do you remember where you were murdered? The boy looked up in the air and then spoke with a pained expression.
殺されるまでは小部屋に監禁されていたんだけど、儀式だとか言われて目隠しされたんだ。目隠しを取られた先にあったのは祭壇みたいなのがある部屋。窓もなくてジメジメしていて、階段を結構降りていったから、多分地下室かなんかだったのかもね。
A basement? It sounded like a fitting place for something called the Forbidden Room.
痛かったな。辛くて、本当早く終わらせてほしかった。神がどうのこうの言っていてさ、俺が神に気に入られるようにって変な着物に着替えまでさせられて、あいつほんと狂ってたよ。異常者。
The boy spat out the final words with disdain, then followed up with a sigh. I'm sorry for making you remember. Then, as I was speaking, heard a sound from outside the door.
ダメ、あっちにいて。
What's going on? I peeked through the mirror to see why and noticed the face of the wraith. Ah, yeah. The location of my mark started to sting. Curse to death. Curse, 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 curse. That man. I'm no different from that man. Yet I can't stop killing. Before I knew it, Kuroha was holding my head in his hands.
響き、鏡を割れ。
I heard the sounds of a mirror being shattered, just as Kuroha ordered. Even with the splitting headache and fear gone, I couldn't stop shaking. My ears continued to ring. I heard Kuroha and Hibiki's voices as they tried to help me up. It's all right. I'm still alive. That was the wraith's voice, but she was saying something different this time. That was all I remembered. Huh? Where am I? I slowly opened my eyes and saw the unusual familiar ceiling. Or the usual familiar ceiling.
気がついたようだな。体に異変はあるか？
I turned to see Kuroha by my side. I'm fine. That's right. The mark on my face started to hurt and I ended up passing out. I'm sorry for collapsing like that. Thanks for helping me then. I struggled to prop myself up and Kuroha helped me.
まだ寝ていてもいいんだぞ。無理をするな。
I'm fine, really. I don't feel bad at all right now. I felt a little dizzy as I tried to get out of bed, but that was all. What happened to the boy? He was attacked because of me.
響きが駆けつけてくれている。だから心配するな。
Hibiki. Hibiki was always doing so much to help me. Thank you, Hibiki. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused. Right now, all I could do was pray for both him and the other boy to be safe.
一つ確認しておきたいことがある。あざが痛む前、鏡に悪霊が映ったか？
Yes, I did. The moment I saw her eye, I felt pain shooting through me.
呪いの発動について視線が関係しているのではと考えていたんだが、当たっているかもしれないな。
I wonder.
なあ、お前は二度にわたって襲われているが、そのどちらもがそばにいただろう。悪霊が。
Yeah, you're right.
まだ予想でしかないが、あの悪霊の目が呪いを発動する鍵になっている気がするんだ。
Maybe. I looked over at Kuroha, who was deep in thought and wore a grimace on his face. No doubt he's thinking about how to help me face down this curse. Overwhelmed with gratitude, I found myself on the brink of tears. I managed to hold back and talked with Kuroha about the details of what I'd just seen. The moment I felt the pain, the wraith came and tried to talk to me again. But this time she said something different. It felt like she wasn't talking directly to me. What she was saying, I think it has something to do with her regrets.
心残りか。覚えている限りでいいから教えてくれないか。思い出すのが辛いなら無理に話さなくていい。
I shook my head and talked about the words she said to me and the things I saw.
書斎のような景色か。もしかしたら月神家か。
She also said this, I'm no different from that man, yet I can't stop killing.
あの男。
I believe she was referring to Isao Skikami. I can't think of anyone else. Isao Skikami murdered many people, and I think she's comparing him to herself. Kuroha looked down at the sword he carried at his side. The scowl on his face deepened, revealing the true depth of his emotions. What are you thinking about?
もし俺の記憶にあの悪霊が関わっているのなら、その男とは俺なのではと。
Hmm? Without thinking, I stretched my hand out towards his. He was trembling. I couldn't help but gently touch Kuraha on the cheek. Then, in that next moment,
なんだこの刀。どうして血がついている。俺は死んだのか。一体ここで何をしていたんだ。この刀何故持っているかわからないんだ。もしかしたら俺は死ぬ前何かあってあの悪霊人を殺したんじゃないか。
no. I wanted to deny it, but the images I saw combined with his words caused me to panic. No, Kuraha isn't a murderer. He can't be. What I saw earlier was... I felt bad saying this about Hibiki, but when I touched his hand, I felt the darkness. I had a terrible headache. But when I saw Kuraha's images earlier, they didn't affect me at all. Kuraha didn't have that darkness in him. I can't believe that you murdered anyone, Kuraha. Even when we're touching right now, I don't sense any darkness in you. Kuraha slowly pulled his hand away from me.
すまない。お前に余計なものを見せてしまった。
It's okay, really. Even when I see your past, it doesn't affect me at all. There's no pain or headaches, I promise.
少しだけ楽になった気がする。ありがとう。
Kuraha is feeling as uneasy as me. No, maybe even more than me. From what I saw earlier, I could see the sadness and confusion that Kuraha carried. It was the first time I'd seen his regrets. Kuraha was always so calm, so composed. I had no idea he was carrying such fears. Besides, it's my fault that Kuraha started to think this way about himself. I'm sorry. It seems my own theories are making you worried about your past. This is all my fault for suggesting that there could be a connection with that wraith in your memories, Kuraha.
お前のせいではない。心乱したのは俺自身の問題だ。
But
お前は気にしなくていい。だからそんな顔するな。
Kuraha sighed deeply and returned to his usual demeanor.
お前が目覚めたことだし、俺は一度表の世界に戻ろうと思う。響きが気になるからだ。それと、ユイが新たな情報を持っているかもしれない。
Please, let me go with you. I'm worried about Hibiki too.
いや、お前はここに残ってもらう。さっきのようなことをしなければ、ここは安全だからな。
I understood why Kuraha was worried, but thank you for trying to keep me safe. I really am grateful, but please let me stay with you. I'm responsible for dragging everyone into this mess. I was unsettled by the fact that people like that boy were being attacked because of me. Besides, I realized something else in the mirror. I wasn't safe anywhere, not as long as I had this curse on my face. I dropped to my knees in front of Kuraha and bowed to him.
何を？
I can't keep hiding it forever. Please, Kuraha, let me go with you. I'm weak, and I know I've caused everyone to worry about me, but I promise to protect my mind from now on, no matter what. That's really all I can promise, that I'll try to protect my own mind. In the previous fight, he promised to protect me, and now I wanted to offer a promise of my own. This is something only I can do, something I must do. It's my life, after all.
ミサ。
Kuraha gently nudged my head upwards and helped me to my feet.
約束を。ありがとう。
Thank you.
俺も改めて約束しよう。魂にかけてお前を守ると。
Something about him saying he swore on his soul left me worried, but I made up my mind to protect him too. And so I said, please don't swear on your soul. Please don't swear on your soul. If you were gone, I'd feel so sad. I'd completely fall apart. Kuraha didn't respond, but I felt like I had to say it.
お前には負ける。そう言われてしまっては無茶できないじゃないか。
Thank goodness. Before, all I could do was hide behind him in fear, but not anymore. I would stand next to him and stand up to my fear moving forward.
俺を心配してくれたんだろ。ありがとうな、ミサ。
Hearing him say my name again made my heart flutter. I feel so happy whenever Kuroha says Misa. It makes me feel warm.
それじゃあ響のところに急ごう。未だ戻ってこないから気になってな。
Yes. At the base of the stairs, we noticed that Hibiki was in front of the mirror. The boy from before was with him too. Thank goodness they're safe. Hibiki! When he saw us, he rushed down the steps to where we were. He then pulled us towards the side of the hallway.
今は出られません。多分、あなたたちが言っている悪霊が鏡の前で待ち伏せしています。
Hmm?
あんた、鏡越しじゃわからなかったけど、聖者じゃんか。っていうか、その朝。
Oh, this is... That wraith placed the curse on me.
そう。あんただったのか。
Huh?
ああ、いや、ここのとこ、あの悪霊が頻繁に動くようになったからさ。なんでだろうって不思議だったんだ。
Yeah, I think I might be the cause of that. The boy glanced at Kuroha, but quickly looked away. For now, I'm just glad you're safe. I'm sorry for dragging you into this.
彼女を恨まないでくれ。今学校は異常な空間になっているから元の写し所へ戻そうとしていてな。
The boy gasped and looked up, his expression revealing a sudden idea.
赤い世界になってから壁に追突するし、物に触れられるしでおかしいとは思ってたんだけど。
He seemed to be talking to himself as he stared down at the floor.
さっき神下ろし事件について聞いてきたよね。あの事件を紐解けば写し所へ戻せるの。
It isn't so much the incident, but if I do solve the rumor of the Forbidden Room, I think we can find out more about that wraith.
協力できることがあるならするよ。授業が受けられないの嫌だからね。
Really? I was overjoyed to have another person to join our team right now. Thank you very much. I'd be more than happy to get your help.
俺からも礼を言う。
学校の空間がおかしくなってからいろいろ変化していってるみたいだし、俺も便乗させてもらうよ。
Join in?
ああ、ごめん。協力っていうのが正しいよね。それじゃあ早速だけど、あの悪霊は神下ろし事件の被害者だよ。着ている着物からわかるからね。
Huh? Then she actually has no association with Kuroha whatsoever. Considering how nervous Kuroha was earlier, perhaps this was for the best. I glanced at Kuroha, and he seemed deep in thought, staring at a single point on the ground. If that wraith is a victim of the Divine Invocation incidents, then we know 6 victims. Do you know anything about the Forbidden Room?
俺は名前しか聞いたことなくて内容は知らない。というか、この前ある女の子にそれ聞かれたばかりだよ。
Oh, maybe it was Yui.
あれ、あんたたちの仲間？
Yes, she is. From the looks of it, it seemed as though Yui didn't mention anything about herself to him. But given Yui's plan, she was bound to meet him eventually. She's a very kind and considerate girl. If you run into her again later, I hope you'll talk with her. The boy nodded his head in agreement.
これからのことだが、俺がまた悪霊を引きつけよ
僕も手伝います。クレハさんと2人で引きつけて。
う。ありがとう。それならお前は彼女を保健室まで送ってくれ。
だったら僕が引きつけ役になるので、クレハさんが連れて行った方が。
俺にしかあの悪霊はついてこないと思っている。だから響、頼んだぞ。
わかりました。全力で守ります。
Kuroha grinned and lightly patted Hibiki's head. Hibiki sure looks happy. Looking back, Hibiki was all alone in the mirror until he met us. He spent his time avoiding everyone from the outside. I couldn't know what caused him to be like that, but... You're not alone anymore, Hibiki. Hibiki smiled bashfully and said,
僕、今が結構気に入ってます。友達ができたような、そんな気がして。
That's right. We are your friends, Hibiki. Kuroha and I both. With that, Hibiki smiled. It was the kind of smile I'd ever seen him make.
それじゃあ俺は出る。みんなの無事を祈ってるぞ。
With that, Kuroha ran up the central stairway and exited out the mirror. Kuroha, you stay safe too. Kuroha's perspective. I left the mirror world, but was unable to find the wraith, yet I sensed something in the shadows, a dark presence not even trying to hide. I climbed down the first floor and noticed it move. I proceeded toward the stairs facing the main entrance and ascended to the third floor. While jogging through the place, I recalled the promises we'd made to each other. If I vanished, she said she would lose her mind. If anything, that told me how important I was to her. That said, I couldn't be happier about the situation. Her feelings toward me could act as shackles preventing her from returning to the mortal... That said, I couldn't be happy about the situation. Her feelings toward me could act as shackles preventing her from returning to the mortal realm. Even so, it was too late to simply push her away now. If only I was alive. Even if I was alive, our lives were separated by an ocean of time.
どうあっても俺と彼女の人生は交わらない。
I knew that was the case, but acknowledging it out loud still hurt. Misa's perspective. As Kuroha distracted the wraith, Hibiki brought me back safely to the nurse's office. I thanked Hibiki and he looked a bit sorry. I have something important to do, so I'll be gone for a while. And after saying that, he vanished. I wondered what that important thing could be and wanted to ask him where he was going, but I knew I had to focus on my own issues. As I said goodbye to him, he told me that I still had permission to use the mirror whenever I needed. The boy who said he would cooperate with us also entered the nurse's office with us.
この間ぶりじゃん。月神ゆい。
Yui and I both looked at each other, surprised at the greeting.
私、あなたに名乗った覚えはないのですが。
忘れちゃった。まあ、使用人の顔なんていちいち覚えてないよな。
Yui's expression suddenly changed.
俺は月神家の使用人。そして屋敷の主に殺された被害者。
申し訳ありません。名乗らずにいて。私の父がしたことを謝りもせずに。
いいいい。そういうのいらない。俺、あんたのこと恨んでないから。ただし、成仏する手伝いはしてもらおうかな。
ぜひ、そうさせてもらえるのなら、私、心からありがたいです。
Yui held both of the boy's hands tightly. It seemed there were ghosts who understood this wasn't Yui's fault. Though clearly not all of them felt that way. They each seemed to have their own way of dealing with the issue. With that, the three of us exchanged the information we'd found. As for Yui, she wasn't able to figure out the location of the room. But after hearing what we'd found out, a dejected look crossed her face.
あの悪霊が事件の被害者。父への恨みから悪霊へとなってしまったのね。
Okay, well, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching 9-RIP running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.